Hey, Internet. Do you want a super cool reviewer with a lot of charisma, non-superficial ideas, and the verve to do it with?
You know,
Really?
it doesn't
You don't?
really excite me.
Okay, what can I do better?
Find a new hobby?
Get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. Get the...
Are you censoring yourself?
Wow. You really thought I was going to do that thing where I'm about to say the F word and then I go out? No. This ain't a PG-13 movie. I'd treat you guys better than that. "2014 is almost over, and I do not know why I'm speaking in a southern accent."
Well, 2014's ending, and I can look back and safely say that 2014 was one great year for movies. I think it's the best year for films in a while. And to be honest, in my conscious years as a conscious human being, consciously, it's the best year for films I've ever seen. And even though there are definitely a few stinkers, there are some movies this year that have been the best I've ever seen or just great movies. So, I'm going to do the top 14 best movies of 2014. So, every person online has got their certain quirks. And those who don't are unoriginal. So, I'm going to do my thing, which is going to be that I'm going to do my top 14 all out of order. To start off my top 14, I'm going to start with my 6th favorite movie of the year, Under the Skin. The cinematic experience I got with this movie made me want to put it a little higher on this list than I did, but there's so many great movies this year that it was hard, so I had to put it in my number 6 spot. But the thing about Under the Skin is, although there's one flaw which I'll explore later, this is an enveloping movie. Whether you like it or not, and there are plenty of people who do not like this movie. This is not for everyone. I saw this with my friend and my mom. My friend and I liked it. Mom hated it. She wanted to leave. Apparently, some people in the theater did leave when we saw it. This is a movie that kept me more or less captivated for the whole movie because it succeeds in a lot of levels. The first level it succeeds in is visuals, because visually it's a masterpiece. The sign of a visual masterpiece is not when the special effects are just good or it looks nice, but when it does interesting things with its visuals, and this does. Because the first great thing it does is it tells a story visually. There is some dialogue. It's mostly used to just kind of prove a point, show something. None of it is exposition. But this movie tells almost all of its story visually, and it leaves you to ponder things, figure things out, but not in really a pretentious way, I don't think. I think it does a great job. And to add to that, it is some of the most striking cinematography I've ever seen. Ever. It's a big word. Maybe I use it too much in my reviews or my lists or whatever I do, but I really believe that with this movie. Because every shot looks incredibly crisp, incredibly real, and just almost raw in a way. You just see it and you're like, wow. But besides just looking nice, it's got meaning to it. Like, there's just one scene. I might be misquoting a little bit. I don't remember exactly what happens in the movie, but spoiler. There's a scene when Scarlett Johansson is on a beach, and there's a guy who's drowning out in the water, and she leaves him to die, and she leaves, and his baby is left on the beach. And then you see this shot that's like later at night, and the baby's just alone on the beach, crying, and it's scary. You see this, and it's bone chilling. It's a blood chilling scene. You just see this, and you're struck to your core. That's another way to talk about this movie. It's powerful. It's very, very powerful in what it does. It uses its visuals very well. And speaking of visuals, although it is a movie that has like the alien subplot, and from what it sounds like, there's more of this. There's only a few scenes that really use a lot of special effects. I think they're practicals, and if they are, they're amazing. They don't look like any of the CGI you see anywhere. I don't know what they are. I'm assuming they're practicals, but in the scenes when Scarlett Johansson abducts these men and harvests their organs or takes their blood or whatever, it's one of the most stunning visuals I've ever seen. And it's very quiet and very scary because I don't want to ruin this too much because they're very unique scenes. But so Scarlett Johansson like takes him into this huge dark room, and like it looks like they're about to have sex, and the guy's like, "Hoo hoo, this can be great." And then they go into this black goo type stuff, and they start to kind of stretch out and disintegrate, and they become this like weird floating blanket like thing. Like I know that sounds weird, but that's what happens. And they're just like floating in this void. And in this, there's this one scene early in the movie. It's like one of the first guys she abducts, and he's just floating there, and you're just watching, and you're like, "What is this?" And then randomly he implodes, and that was one of the scariest scenes I saw in anything this year, because it just chilled me to my bone. It was bizarre. It was weird. Those are pretty much the same word, but it was just, it's chilling. And this movie is also great visually because there's some movies where you can take things that aren't there about the story and like make your own assumptions. But this is a movie that invites you to make a lot of assumptions. It shows a lot about human nature and what it means. One of the actors in this movie is it's a horribly disfigured man, to say it quite accurately. And I wasn't expecting this kind of a character in it. And they portrayed a character pretty tenderly. He's like a sad character, but it's hard to explain. You don't see a lot of disfigured people in movies these days, but just the way they use this guy is very, very interesting. And sadly, I don't think this guy's gonna do a lot in Hollywood because people don't want to see disfigured men, which is, I don't know, it's kind of a shame. But the way that they show this man is very interesting, and it's a very powerful metaphor for what human nature is. So visually, it looks great. As I said, another great thing, the score. It's there's like a weird indie musician who my friend really likes named Mikachu, who this is her first score. Score fits the movie really well. That's great. Another thing I love about this movie is Scarlett Johansson. Now, I'm a bit biased because I love Scarlett Johansson. She's so likable in anything I've seen her in. She's not maybe the greatest actress, but she's so charming. And whenever I see her in anything, I want to see it. She's very marketable for that reason because she's so charming. And now, interestingly, my friend said to me after this movie, when I said she did a great job, he was like, this isn't the hardest role. And it's funny, I disagree with him wholeheartedly because I think it is. Scarlett Johansson portrays the character when she's not on screen with other people as being very cold and disconnected, obviously, very scary. But then when she's on screen, she portrays it like very, very charmingly, even though you know it's not the real emotion. She's like the becoming human, like preachy, na. It's very subtle. You might even miss it that that's what's happening to her. And that's how good she is. I just think this is a really good turn for the dramatic for her. And like the rest of the movie, it's very subtle, but it's very good. And I'm excited to see more from her. And another thing about this movie is there are movies that are memorable because they're just weird. Like, I know people hate me because I'm saying something bad about David Lynch, but I don't like the movie Lost Highway. I just think it's too confused. It's not that too confusing. I guess I just didn't get it. But that movie stuck with me only because it was really weird, and I remembered some things. It wasn't that it was a memorable movie. But Under the Skin is a memorable movie because there's so much behind what's happening. It's very captivating, and you remember everything. It's very, very powerful, very interesting, a lot to think about. And I honestly think it's just, I mean, obviously some people thought it was confusing and dumb, and even I thought it was a bit confusing when I first saw it. But it's a movie that I'd love to watch again because there's so much to dissect from it, and it's just a very interesting movie. To tap it off, it's well directed, it's visually stunning, it's quiet, it's disturbing, it's unsettling, yet entertaining, it's disturbing. It's a great movie, and it's absolutely worth checking out. And if, from what I've described, it sounds like your kind of movie, it is. And if you're a person who doesn't like certain kind of movies but is willing to give them a try, if what I've explained does not appeal to you, don't even say, oh, maybe I'll like it. This is not your kind of movie. But it's my kind of movie, and I love it. Maybe you will as well. Yeah, I'm new to reviewing, trying to find a sign off line. Can't do it. So, see any good movies lately? The weather is very wet. Man, this review is really getting under my skin. Hello to the 2 people who watched my video. Now, I know I don't have many viewers. I accept that. Most people on YouTube are like that. We don't get a lot of viewers. But, we gotta start somewhere. Gotta get your opinions out somehow. But I just wanted to let you know that for my reviews, I say and a lot, I say like a lot, I say subtle a lot for some reason. Kind of weird. Don't make a lot of eye contact sometimes. I interrupt myself. I'm kind of repetitive. So I'm going to work on those things. I'm doing what I do. You do your thing. You watch. But I'm not going to tell you what to do because I ain't the establishment. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Bottom line, I'm going to get better. See ya.